Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is One Day Today. We are on episode 106. I'm really excited about both our guests here today. My name is Abram, and I am your host, and I'll be inviting Matthew, our co-host, to join us in a moment. But it's been a couple weeks. We've had a lot of amazing people on this stage so far, just really sharing, their gifts. I would assert that no matter who you are, where you are in the world, you have something unique that nobody else in the world has. You have something that you've seen something, you've experienced something that is the solution to somebody else's problem. You have something that is the beauty to someone else's ugly experiences. You have something that is the courage for where someone else's fear is. And that's what this is about. This is a space for you to share the gift that you are and to really hold a spotlight to the people who are up to things greater than themselves. And one thing I feel called to share right now. I shared this song a little while ago. If you, I think it was on our 100th episode, but I wasn't happy with the audio quality. But my long story short, my birthday was this last week, and I ended up buying myself a birthday present, and I got a new acoustic guitar, and I decided to record this song, an acoustic version of this song. This is the song. Really, a lot of people ask me, "What is One Day? What is One Day about?" And I could talk about it for hours and hours and hours. But I feel like what this song is for me is it's a musical, you know, sharing of this vision. If I what I can't put to words, this song is what it one day is for me. So I'm gonna share this real quick, and I'm gonna invite Matthew to join us. But without further ado, this is One Day is Today.
Why wait for tomorrow? How much time do we need? When the pieces come falling down, would you pick them up with me? Would you pick them up with me? When we open our eyes, will the light set us free? Will you treat me as human when we disagree? Do we pretend to be neighbors? Do we pretend to want peace? Looking in my reflection, is it you that I see? Is it you that I see? All that we've endured, we're a part of something more. One day is today. Hold on, why wait? Why waste a lifetime waiting for a sign? Right now is the time. Together we shine. Together we rise. All that we've endured, we're a part of something more. One day is today. One day is today. One day is today. Hold on, why wait?
There it is.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Exactly. I honestly, the thing that I love the most about that particular piece is the way you did it in the form of questions. Because to me, like, I don't feel like either one of us have all the answers. I don't feel like anyone has all the answers. But what we do have are questions. And by discussing those questions publicly and really, what's the word? In true conversation, where we're not listening simply to respond, but we're listening to actually understand. I feel like that is what leads to the discovery of the next stage of our societal evolution, whatever that happens to be.
Yes, I mean that's something I feel Socrates. I think maybe we have Socrates to thank, the power of the question, and it's something that it's something in my journey, and I can't wait to hear both our guests Vincent and Nick share their story. But it's something that I discovered in the last, I guess in college. It was a Bob Dylan poem that I read that made me willing to look, because I knew it made me discover, like, I didn't know words could make me feel this way. I didn't know he put to words things that I couldn't even explain. And if Bob Dylan wrote a song and said, "You need to find yourself, you need to find God," I never would have found myself or found God. It was the questions he asked that made me willing to look. It's like, okay, all I know is that I don't know, so I'm willing to look. And I feel like our questions is our most powerful tool to really invite ourselves and each other to discover something. Because as soon as we think that we know everything, that's when we're in the dark ages. That's when that's when things go a little haywire.
Yeah. What's a certainty? Certainty is like, it can be a very, very dangerous road to walk.
Mm-hmm.
It was only when I actually started admitting to myself that I don't know that empathy opened up, the compassion opened up, understanding of the other opened up.
Mm-hmm.
So like it took that breaking down of this conviction that I knew how this world was and what was going on, and admitting to myself that I don't know jack, man.
Mm-hmm. It takes something to be able to. It's like when we're sure of anything, that's when we have to check ourselves. And it's like it's like all we really know is that we don't know. And I feel like we should all be able to say to ourselves, it's like, I have my convictions, I have my opinions, I have my values and beliefs, and I might be wrong. There might be something I don't see. And it's like, we all have blind spots, by definition. We all have things that we can't see. And this is where where we can be, when we can be open to looking in our blind spots, but open to receiving someone else's seeing of our blind spots. That's when we can support each other. And it's when growth and expansion is a means to experience who we are. It requires looking in places that it might be uncomfortable, that might be confronting, and it's the most powerful things in life, in my opinion. On the other side is the other side of our fear.
Yeah, and ultimately that was the source of conviction. Like, I was terrified of the unknown. I was terrified of not knowing what was going to come next, or how I was going to get my next meal, or not being able to pay the bill, or and so I had this set of rules that were set up that if I followed those, I always knew that I was going to be able to pay my bills. I always knew that I was going to be able to put food on my table. But when I under a microscope, none of those convictions held up. There was always some event, some circumstance that took that conviction and just went, "Oh yeah, you think you know something? Okay, well, what about this?"
Right.
And then all of a sudden, I can't pay rent for a month, and it's like, yeah, that happens.
Mm-hmm.
On that note,
yeah,
I feel like it might be a beautiful time to bring in our first guest.
Yeah, let's bring on Vincent. We have all the way from Zambia, Africa. We have with us Vincent Munyama. Welcome, Vincent.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
Okay, so my name is Vincent, just like you have said, from Livingstone, Zambia. So I'm a founder and director of a non-profit here in Livingstone called Lushomo Leadership and Training Initiative, LLTI for short. So the mission of LLTI is basically to provide, empowerment in terms of leadership trainings, uh, computer literacy programs, and apart from computer literacy programs, we also have a program for entrepreneurship, though that one hasn't yet started. So at the moment, basically, we are facilitating leadership registrations and platforms for people to access, the Landmark Forum and other leadership programs in Livingstone, Zambia. So basically, we're just like a gateway, so to say. So on the computer skills training aspect of it, basically we are offering basic computer skills to people in our community here in Livingstone, to be specific where I live. Okay, so the whole journey of basically this organization began, I would say, early this year. Okay, so before we basically started this organization, I used to teach at a school just within called YCTC, okay, Youth Community Training Center. So we had a guest there who came from the US by the name of Bill. Okay, so Bill fell in love with the institution. Then after that, unfortunately, Bill passed on in the process. Then we got connected with his wife Wendy. Okay, so when I left the institution, I went out of town for a while, but we connected with Wendy. So, but before we connected with Wendy, Wendy sponsored 11 staff members at the same institution to go and do the Landmark Forum in South Africa. So when I came back from there, that's when I began the search to rediscover myself, to really find out exactly who I am and what I can contribute, to the world. And now, fast forward from that, we connected with Wendy, okay, through her organization, Let's Make the Difference. Then this year in May, before we had the Landmark Forum, I had the computer. It's a very interesting story. I had a computer, so that computer had a problem connecting to the internet. So each time we would be on Zoom calls, it was kind of difficult for me to kind of connect and be on those calls. So Let's Make the Difference made it possible for us to have the 4 computers. So what they did was they donated 4 computers and empowered us also with internet access through 2 routers that we have. Later on, the 3rd one was provided for us. So at that point, I had my non-profit, which was basically affiliated to Let's Make the Difference, like I said. So I looked at the community where I am, and I looked at the access to internet and computer skills here, because it's very difficult here and very expensive for people. I would say the vast majority of people to access internet connectivity and computers. So that's how I thought of, how do I make a difference using what I have, using the computers that I have, using the internet that I have. How do I help, people who cannot access those facilities? Because the vast majority, especially those people who are still in school, to be specific, high schools and primary schools, don't have access to such. So that's how I opened, my doors to people in the community to begin to learn computers. Okay, so I provide basic internet skills. So I received an overwhelming number, and with only 4 computers, I had the the first people who came were 10 in total. So the number began to increase. So right now I've got 13 students. The number began to increase. They reached, I think, between 20 and 25, but I had to turn them away, to tell them to say they should wait for the current, students to finish. So in that sense, I began to provide the basic, computer skills up to now. Okay. Then we, as an organization, we use the same computers and internet to attend, Zoom calls, to attend meetings on Let's Make the Difference and other platforms. And again, to access, trainings both at individual level, meaning trainings that you can access on your own, and trainings that can be conducted by other individuals and organizations. So with me, basically, I've done an OPM training. So I've done an OPM training. I've had an opportunity of being trained to get to know how to do the CRM on Rail. And I've had the opportunity to interact with other people on different platforms using Zoom. Besides that, I've had an opportunity of also assisting, in the Landmark Forum. So I assisted on the Kenya Forum just 2 weeks ago, and I'm currently assisting on the South Africa seminar, which will run for 10 weeks. So I feel privileged, not even privileged, but I feel so lucky. I would say I feel so lucky that I've had this opportunity, of being exposed to all these technologies, to being exposed to the leadership trainings, and other forms of trainings because of Let's Make the Difference. So I've thought it wise to extend, this privilege to others, because most of the people, like I said, the vast majority don't have access to internet, don't have access to computers. So in that sense, I feel it's my duty going forward to begin to basically help others who cannot have access. Though there's a challenge of computers, like I said, we only have 4 computers, and people keep on flocking, so that becomes a challenge as well. But with the 4 computers, I feel I've changed people's lives, especially the school-going kids who don't really have access to internet and computer technology. I've really kind of stepped in and provided those skills to them, of which I'm still doing it. Then coming back to leadership training, like I said, we facilitate registrations and a platform for them to access different leadership programs, including the Landmark Forum. So again, I've had the privilege of registering 2 of my friends to do the forum from here, which was the SA Forum. So it has been for me really a moment of great joy, making all these contributions. Number 1, to the community that I live in. Then number 2, to my friends and family. And I would say I owe all that to Wendy Hoffman, because if it wasn't for her, number 1, we wouldn't have had these computers here that we are using to have access to platforms like networking meetings, like trainings, like I said, and to make a difference in the communities that we are. So she really helped us a lot. And besides that, again, we get coaching and trainings from Sean Berman. So Sean, again, has been amazing in providing different kinds of trainings to my colleagues and I. So really the journey is still ongoing, but I feel like I'm making impact in the community and the people that I live with and changing lives, because if it wasn't for what has happened to me, I think even the impact that I've made so far wouldn't have been there. So this is an opportunity that I also need to extend to others. So the plan going forward is to begin to roll out our programs in other parts of the country. So again, the limitation becomes the computers, okay, and the internet technology, because these are expensive things. So, but I believe that going forward, we are going to connect. We are going to find people who are going to connect, and people will be gracious enough to make it possible for us to extend what we do, to extend the impact that we are creating, to extend, the knowledge that we are giving, to extend, the connections that we are giving, to extend, the hope that we are giving in people's lives. So as an organization, really we are on the right track, I feel. And as an individual, I feel that I'm growing by the day. I'm growing by the day because platforms like different platforms, like for instance, networking meetings, have given me a really good and deep understanding of exactly how we can further create impact, and exactly how we can really make ourselves, be relevant to whatever we are doing. So this organization, like I said, the vision is to grow it further. And the vision, like I said, for myself is to grow myself further so that we can expand, we can create more opportunities. At present, we are the opportunities that we are creating, or the empowerment that we are creating, is in leadership and computer literacy programs. But we also want, in the near future, to begin to create opportunities in entrepreneurship, where we want to begin to empower people to begin to start, their own small businesses in one or another. And I feel that that is possible. That is very possible. So really, the organization is doing much. And I feel that I think I'm living my purpose in life. I feel that this is what exactly I was meant to do. And this is how my life is supposed to be. I'm supposed to change someone, to create hope, to give people hope, to inspire people, okay, to change my community. And this is what we are doing as LLTI. So we're just grateful, like I said, to LMTD for the opportunity, for the various opportunities they've given us, including the scholarship basically they've been providing for us to attend, for instance, the Landmark Forum and other platforms. So we feel that with that, we are on the right track. And we are changing the world. And we are transforming the world. Yeah.
Vincent, thank you for sharing. It's amazing to hear you talk about, because I hear gratitude, and a deep gratitude in what you're sharing, but also just the fact that you've received this gift and you recognize it, and that you're giving it back like tenfold, and it's so beautiful how you're taking an obstacle, and with a limitation of technology and access to internet, and you're giving that gift. You're not letting a limitation stop you. You're actually letting that fuel your work. and you're giving people, an access to be empowered, whatever it is they're up to start a business and start entrepreneurship, but also to contribute to their community. And you're just giving so much back to your community and just who you're being. So just thank you for seeing, the opportunity and seizing it, and just being that source of connection and community, in your community, in your whole country. Is, you're pioneering, leadership by taking leadership. You're pioneering leaders and planting seeds of leadership all over, and so I just really acknowledge you for who you're being and what you're up to, Vincent.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me again, and I'll be forever grateful because really life has given me this opportunity, okay, to begin to make, a valuable contribution, especially in my community. And this is what we are doing, okay? And my hope is that, like I said, is to begin to want to expand whatever we are doing from here, because I'm seeing the need from our end here. Because imagine if, for instance, you can have 4 computers and 25 people turn up. They all want those, just the basic skills in computing, meaning there's a need, there's a great need for that. So, but even if there's a limitation, we are doing the best that we can with what we have here. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if you could speak a little bit more about what brought you to realize the opportunity in your situation. I feel like there's not many people who actually see the challenges that we face as opportunities, and it seems like you really do. It seems like you actually see this more as an opportunity than a detriment. And I wonder if you could just talk a little bit more about that and what brought you to that viewpoint, if anything.
Okay, so what basically brought me to that was it was because of my neighborhood, okay, and the kids that are there. Because most of the kids that that I teach, basic computer skills, they go to schools where it's either they're having, very few computers or maybe no computer at all, Like I normally say, there's a school just nearby where I live where basically there's no computer at that school. So I basically, when these 4 computers came in, I saw that as an opportunity for me just to fill in the gap, to create, a difference for them in their lives. Because it broke my heart, and to see that, at a school you don't have even 1 computer, okay? So I always wanted to help in one or another. But before these computers came in, it was difficult because I only had 1 computer, and that computer wasn't in a good condition. It was an old computer, I tell you, because it couldn't even go to the internet. So I guess I saw this as an opportunity, first of all, even before these computers arrived, okay? But it was, I would say, a blessing in itself when these computers arrived for me to kind of now seize the opportunity of wanting to create a difference, okay? So when these computers arrived, that was the first thing that I did. The first thing that I did was to, spread word out that now we have computers, and there was a very overwhelming response, I tell you. So that's basically how I seized, I looked at what was missing. What was missing was access. And what was missing basically was access to the same computers and access to internet by these people. So I said, if only I could have those, then I could kind of, fill in the gap. And that opportunity came in. From that opportunity of these computers coming, I seized, that opportunity of providing these services to them. So basically, that's how it happened. It was like, I don't know, it was like the dots were just connecting. The next moment the computers come, the next moment I start. Okay, so I don't know, it was just a miracle of all miracles, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. I guess the deeper question is, so what, it sounds like you actually grew up or like had earlier access to the internet to a computer. So how did you get involved in that in the first place, and like what did having that do for you? Like what was the opportunity in that like you really appreciated and wanted to share?
Okay. So like for instance, I had access to, for instance, computers when I went to college. Okay. So the school where I was, computers came in when I was about to graduate from high school. I think a year before I was about to graduate. That's when computers came in. So we never had that opportunity to, first of all, learning in high school, to get to understand exactly how a computer was. Okay. It was one of the few schools here in Livingston that had computers. I think it was among the 4, if not 3 schools only, where I had at the time. So after I finished high school, I went to college. So I bought a computer there when I went to college. But even at college, we had people without computers. Imagine at college, the vast majority of people never had computers. Okay, so they would kind of borrow, a computer and they use it. You give a friend, they use it and they give you back. Then after I graduated now, okay, and I came back home, I saw now the need being that in the community where I was, just access to things like, phones, access to things like, internet and computers, are very difficult because here, like, computers are very expensive. Okay. Like the cheapest computer that you can get here is about $750, between $700 to $750. That's a computer you can get here. That's the cheapest. Okay. So after that, after when I came back home, I saw the need. Okay. Then I got a job. I started working. I worked. Then, but I really wanted to help in terms of, teaching people basic computer skills. But the limitation again was the computers themselves. That was a limitation from the beginning. I could want to help out, but the limitation, because I only had one computer. So, like I said, fast forward, we met with Wendy. I formed the organization. They donated computers. This is when I saw the opportunity. That opportunity, I said, this is now where, even if I have the 4 computers, we are going to use these computers to create change where we are. Okay? So this is how the whole thing started. So it started way back from college, where you could see the gaps. Okay? You could see the gaps, and you could see people struggling. You could see kids, struggling, but you can't do anything about it. But boom, the opportunity comes and you take it. So this is what we have done here, and that's the way it all started.
That's beautiful. And just really quick, just for a little bit of perspective, like, when you say a computer, like the cheapest computer you can get here is $750, how much time would it take the average person there to save that much money in order to buy one of those computers? Just briefly for perspective.
Wow. It would take a person, I think, about 6 months to save that money. Yeah, because here the minimum wage is about $100. Yeah, between $100, I think, to $110. That's a minimum wage.
Is that per month?
Yes, per month. Yes. So imagine if, for instance, one wants to buy a computer, isn't it? Which is $750. Then you have a minimum wage, let's say at $100, or let's say at 105, somewhere there, between 100 and 105. It will take maybe somewhere between 6 and 1 year, somewhere 6 months to 1 year. You see, computers here are luxuries. Okay, they are luxuries because they're only accessible by a few. Because why? They're very expensive. It's like internet, for instance. Internet here is very expensive. So, for instance, only a few can kind of access, things like internet, can only access, things like computers. Because, the statistics will tell you, like, for instance, here, just where I am, in Zambia, 18% have got access to internet. 18%. So meaning, for instance, you're talking about between 70 and somewhere 75% not having access to those things. Okay, so it's really a different environment, come to think of it. But once you kind of seize the opportunity like we did here, okay, having these four computers and begin to provide, then you begin to see the difference that you are making in people's lives. You begin to appreciate, okay, the opportunity that you have had for yourself to have, computers and to have, internet and to be exposed, and to have, these opportunities of getting in, various platforms where, you can get information, you can get knowledge, you can get, you can, be connected and so on. So it's quite different here. But at the same time, that presents an opportunity for someone to make a difference, just like we are doing here.
It's so beautiful, Vincent. You're giving, people in your community, children, students who have these big dreams in their hearts. You're giving them access to not only pursue what their passion and their dreams are, but to be connected with the world and like you are right now, connecting with people all across the world. And like that's what I'm really excited about in this day and age of the world. And something that, the pandemic has really opened up is there's never been a bigger opportunity for connection and community and collaboration. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for your community, just because you're taking this. Like you said, only 18% of people have access.
Yeah.
About 18% have access to internet and computers, and that would be if they put all of their income towards the computer, like not including food and all the other expenses. Like it would take, I would assert probably over a year just to be able to afford that. With, if they didn't eat or anything else, maybe they could afford a computer in 6 months. But I think it's amazing that you're seizing that opportunity, but you're also giving others an opportunity, like who are in the same situation that you were in when you were before college, when you were in college, where they will see that opportunity for themselves. They will see their friends and their community members and say, hey, only now 19% of people will have computers. and it's like, and then the next person is like, oh, we have 20%. So it's like you are the tipping point, and your leadership is what, allows others to join together for, making this world in your community, interconnected more than ever before. And this is like, you are our neighbor, and when we're all connected, we are all gain what you have to share. We can all benefit from your dreams and your commitments, but we can share and we can receive each other's gifts, even when we live thousands and thousands of miles away. And I'm just so excited that you are up to who you are and who you're being and what's to come, just with your commitment to your community. Just thank you, Vincent, for being with us and sharing your story with us.
And thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate. Yeah.
No, it's our pleasure, Vincent. We're gonna check back in with you in a little bit after Nick, our second guest, shares. But thank you, Vincent, for being with us and for sharing.
All right.
We'll see you on the flip side, brother.
Okay.
We'll see you on this in a moment, Vincent. I want to take this moment real quick to, I want to check in with all of you and just invite you to share in this space. And this stage is for you to really share what you've experienced in your life that has allowed you to see what you're committed to in your community. What has made you able to follow the dreams in your heart? What did you have to overcome in your life? What did you have to face? If you go to the link in the bottom of the screen, onedaymvmt.org/share-my-gift, you can volunteer to be a part of this stage and share your unique beauty, share your unique genius. This is why we're here, just to give you a platform to share but also this is our mission, is bringing you and me and communities together in joyous celebration, unifying humanity in our diversity to create a better world for us all. And now I would like to welcome and introduce our second guest. We have with us Nick Cappello. Welcome, Nick. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Oh, it's so good to have you. And well, if you're ready, I think this is a good time as any to say, Nick, the stage is yours.
All right. It's going to be hard following that act, but I will definitely try. All right. So today I am really, really happy to be here. I'm going to share with you the journey from Hey Nick to NFT Nick, as I'm somewhat known on the internet from time to time. I am a builder of virtual worlds. I am a technical mastermind behind some NFT projects, and also I am a technical mastermind of the computer networks. And if you look really, really hard, I am also a talking husky on the internet. Take a look. It's fun. So basically, it has become my mission to kind of inspire everyone to be more receptive of this new technology and this new space that we've got called crypto, and also basically to become the best version of themselves that they can in the process. Because I basically had to go ahead and do that myself to get to where I am today. When I first started in the IT business, it was about 20 something odd years ago. I did it because I know that computers were going to be the wave of the future. They're going to be how things are done. They're going to be, how life is going to be governed. So I wanted to make sure that I was riding that wave. Once I sat there and I cut my teeth on some of the finest computers out there, I worked for some of the larger Fortune 100 companies, Coca-Cola, Amoco Oil, et cetera, and the help desk. Once I learned that knowledge, it made me want to know more. It made me want to get more out of my out of this career. So by doing that, I amassed knowledge of the router protocols, internet protocols, all that kind of stuff. Once I had gotten all that, I rose in the ranks and stuff like that, and they were flying me places. I've seen many, many lovely places to go ahead and go for work. Rebuilding computers here, putting in a network here, all that kind of fun stuff. I have been to England, I have been to Mexico, and I've been to Paramus, New Jersey. And so it's been a fun little ride. But I've always felt that there was more than that. So I kind of stepped back from the Fortune 100 worlds, and I was my own computer consultant for quite some time. But I never forgot all of the teachings that came before me. And I was able to go ahead and take that knowledge and put it together for the mom and pop type of store so that they could go ahead and they could have a really, really, really good POS system or, computer network, et cetera, keep it safe, but also do it to the point where it would increase your business, increase your productivity. Because if you just sit there and you go ahead and you're like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and set up a computer network, yay, but you don't do anything to make it run efficiently, or you don't empower the people to help make it run efficiently, you haven't really done your job. So I was doing that for a while. And then once again, that calling came and said, Nick, there's got to be some more that you're doing. You're doing a really good job here. You're helping people and stuff, but there's got to be something else that you can do. That's when I got into healthcare. Healthcare IT, if you think that you want to get into that, you are a special kind of person, because that is a whole different type of nightmare. You have to make sure that everything is HIPAA compliant, everything is safe. You have to ward off evil that you didn't even know existed, all that kind of stuff. You're on your toes 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, pretty much. But it is going to be one of the toughest jobs that you will ever love. And the reason why I say that is if you do your job right and you have one person that benefits from you doing your job right, they either got rid of their cold or they got a cancer treatment that was successful. The X-ray that was taken was top notch. Um, the bills weren't messed up all that much. The process to get somebody checked in that may be utterly terrified to be there, if you can help make that process be a little bit better, then you've won. You've done your job, and you can go home and say, you know what? It's all worth it. All the training, all the stuff, it's worth it. Why? Because you made one person's life a little better. And that's when it kind of hit me that that's always been my calling, is to help make other people's lives better through the use of technology. And with crypto and stuff, it is a heck of a lot easier for it to go ahead and achieve that actual goal. Um, because crypto is such a wide community and it is such a welcoming community in there. I was brought into this crypto community about maybe 8 years ago by my buddy David, and we worked on a couple little small projects and stuff like that. And I was really jazzed to see what kind of community that was being built around this whole fictional little coin. And I'm like going, my God, this is amazing. And then I'm seeing these people that are going ahead and putting like $5 or $10 into this little coin, and all of a sudden, just by me helping these people make their networks more efficient, make their platform work for them, and doing a little UX UI type of work, these people that normally wouldn't have a chance in the stock market or anything like that, they're now getting some returns. May not be the biggest of returns, or it may be a huge return, but that's the game in crypto. And it really just jazzed me. And so I said to myself, I need to go ahead and do better. So when David reached out to me about this project that they're doing, which is a crypto-based city that's going to be completely sustainable. We're going to have wind, solar power. We're going to encourage people to recycle. I mean, it's all going to be about being a better human, being better to your neighbor, and also being better to yourself. The project is called the Ever Smart City, and it is going to be breaking ground in Phoenix, hopefully by the end of 2022. But when he brought me in on this, it was great. I'm like, wow, this is cool. I'm actually taking this up to the next level. We're going to be using this idea of cryptocurrency and NFTs and all that fun stuff to literally help save the world. We're going to reduce our amount of dependency on traditional electricity and fuels. We're going to reduce the amount of waste that we spend. We're going to go ahead and we're going to educate people about all this kind of stuff and help them make a little bit of money in the process. Sorry. The other thing is we're going to bring back the theory of the community as a community, not just the community as a place where you live. The community will be working together to help the community. We are going to encourage and incentivize you to go ahead and go to Mary Milligan's farm to go ahead and get your veggies and stuff like that instead of going to the local supermarket. You'll always have the option, but we're going to make it a little bit nicer and a little bit better for people to go ahead and go to be with Mary Milligan. And in return, Mary Milligan is going to make our lives better because it's going to be fresher food, farm to table, all that other kind of good stuff. They will be helping us by utilizing some of the technologies that we will be helping to innovate or progress forward in all this. And it's just, it's a wonderful idea to help people be the best version of themselves. there's always been a draw to me to go ahead and inspire people to be the best version of themselves that they can be, because that's what I've always strived to be myself. May not have worked all the time, but damn it, I tried, and hopefully in all these worlds, and all this, I have succeeded. Now, when I was talking before about, being a architect of virtual worlds, I got really, really lucky. I was on a project called The Uplift. The Uplift is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful project, and it's basically all about being excellent, but in a virtual platform. It's based off of Minecraft. And so my job is to go ahead and help them bring themselves from one server with a whole bunch of virtual Minecraft worlds just all clogging it, and bring it out into the world as we know it. Now it's one world, one server. There's lots of people that can share, and they are going ahead, and instead of just sitting there and playing Minecraft, they are interacting with each other. They are helping each other. They are doing everything that makes them the best version of themselves that they can be. So that is why I got involved again with this world of crypto. And it's been a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful journey. And the best part about all of this is the fact that now, because I work from home and I don't have as much stress on me anymore, now I get to actually help the person that means the most to me in my life. And that is my lovely wife, Jennifer. She is going to be embarking on a project that basically is going to help, once again, bring out the better version of you. Bring out the best version of you that you can be. It's going to do so through therapeutic means, but it's not going to be, like your traditional sit down, talk to the therapist and, work your stuff out. It's going to be a journey from yourself, and it's going to put you in a different frame of mind. So hopefully you can open up your mind, open up yourself to new things, make yourself the best version that you can be by not tripping over your own insecurities, by not tripping over your own self-doubt, and by just being so incredibly freaking awesome that you can't stand it.
Thank you, Nick. I love it. Thank you for sharing your journey. I think it's amazing that, in your, in your profession and your expertise of, working in, internet technologies and, and how you came to the, like, you were molding these skills that seem already a natural expression of what you're good at. And you're always like finding your why, like your why was kind of sorting itself out as you were just living your life. And then you got to this point, it's like, wait a minute, this is what's always moved me. This is always what's been calling me deep down. And then you just you just had that moment where you just recognize, like, wait, I'm making someone's day better. I'm helping bring out the best version of people. I'm supporting them, even if it's just a little bit of less suffering when they're dealing with their medical, situation. But it's like, but you saw that, and then you just like doubled down. It's like, yep, that's what I'm about, and that's what I'm doing. And now you're a part of this organization that's creating, not only sustainable housing, but you're creating and generating community, a place for people to show up for each other and not just live adjacent in these isolated lives playing Minecraft by themselves. Yes. I think that, so I just acknowledge you for that, just for following that intuition and creating something a beautiful world for your neighbors and for new neighbors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's amazing. And the funny thing is, the minute when it hit that I'm actually living what I should have been doing, I've always kind of thought about it, but it was one person that came up to me and said that I'm a natural at this. And I just kind of looked at him. I said, natural at what? I said, I'm sorry, you caught me off guard here. And anybody that knows me, I rarely get caught off guard. I'm rarely at a loss for words. And they said, you were put here in this world to help people be better. You were put in this world to give people laughter. You were put in this world to help people know that there is something more to them than just what they drudge through every day. I'm like, oh Jesus. it took somebody. I didn't even know who this person was. They were a person in the lobby of the medical center that I worked at that said that. And I'm like going, oh, you gotta be kidding me. So yeah. And that's when I knew that I was doing that. That's when I knew that this is what I was always meant to do.
That's beautiful. And I think that's what it takes a lot of the time is, we're usually living out our lives. We don't even really realize our impact. We don't consider our impact. And it just takes those like out of the mill comments that somebody just catches us off guard. And it's like, hey, you really made a difference for me, or you're really good at that. And it's like, wait, what? Wait. And it's like, and it all made sense. And it's like, and I think that what that shows to me is like, we don't really, unless we're looking, we don't really notice the impact that we make every day. And, how every little thing we do, I say this a lot, every handshake or fist we extend, every smile, smirk, or frown, every hand of support that we extend, it ripples and affects everybody and everything more than we can even imagine. And I think that's beautiful. And it just shows us like we're like, as humans, we're really not good at seeing, we're really good at seeing what others are good at and what others are bad at, but we're really bad at seeing what we're good at, what we're bad at. Like, and I say that it's like we don't, it's our blind spots. We don't see
we
things.
Are our own worst enemy when it comes to our minds. We are our own worst enemy.
We really are. But that's what's so beautiful, and where it comes full circle in your story is that's where community shows up. And it's like that's who we can be for each other, is we can actually lift each other up in
exactly
whatever our unique gifts or skills or talents or crafts or art. It's like we can actually make it, we all can play our part into making the experience of this life better, and for our neighbor, and for the sake, and it's something that when their lives better, it makes our lives better. I think of like the person with road rage. If they don't have road rage, imagine that just that impact of just removing that
exactly
toxic experience. And I think your intentionality and how you've discovered that is beautiful. It's full circle, because you're creating community out of what you have to support, but you're also giving others the opportunity to contribute to each other.
Thank you. And I mean, I've had a lot of help along the way. My parents has always been very supportive of me and stuff like that. But I don't know if you can really see it all that well, but if you take a look at my background here, this is Tony Stark's lair. I've been a Marvel DC guy, ever since I could walk. It was one of the special connections that I've had with my father. And if you take a look, every hero starts off as a flawed version of themselves. And then it's once they come to realize their full potential that they can impact the world. Little did I know that this little ritual that I had with my dad, sitting there reading a comic book, reading on how Batman took out Two-Face, or reading how Iron Man, was going ahead and, combating alcoholism and stuff like that, and, coming out of the other side. It just, once you realize that it's not just the story of a guy in a suit going, "Come here, Mr. Bad Guy," punch him out, and all that kind of stuff. It's about the journey that we all go through in this life, that we have to overcome our own insecurities, our own faults, our own things to get to that other side, so we can make the world a better place. And that, like I said, that is one of, unknowingly, that has been one of the biggest impetuses in my life. Is everybody always says, oh, I want to be Batman when I grow up. I want to be Iron Man when I grow up. But they want to do it because they want to fight bad guys and they want to, shoot lasers out of their hands and stuff like that. I guess deep down inside, yeah, it'd be cool to be able to shoot lasers out of my hands and stuff. But deep down inside, I have always wanted to make the world a little bit better than when I came in. And that's part of the reasoning why I do what I do.
That's beautiful, and I love it. What you're describing, that's the hero's journey. And we all have an opportunity, in our lives to discover where it's like it's always something, that gets in our way that makes us, when we can notice the barriers and our own ability to overcome those barriers, when we take responsibility for our experience to become the hero of our story, and to share the gifts that we receive, and to magnify and amplify what it is that we have to share and to contribute. And I love it. I love that.
Yeah, and I love the fact that everybody that's here that I've seen, because I've gone ahead and I did my homework on you guys. Everybody here, they have become the hero of their own story. They have gone through the hardships, and they've come out maybe a little bit better, maybe a little bit bruised, but they've come out on the other side and they've come out better. And yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing what will happen when you change your mind and when you change your thought patterns, instead of how many cars can I have, how many, how big of a house can I have, how many friends can I have, what kind of really rich food can I eat, to how many friends can I have that I can change? How many people do I know that I can go ahead and tell a really bad joke or do something really stupid to make them laugh and increase the value of their day a little bit? When you start changing into that mindset, the first part of getting the money, getting all that stuff, that's all going to come. It may not, but if you put out the good in the world, it's got to come back to you. I mean, the world's a cruel place, but it's not that cruel. It is not that cruel.
Right. I mean, I think it's what you're looking for. I mean, if you're looking for cruelty in the world, you'll find it. But if you're looking for beauty, you'll find there's an abundance. And I think that's, and it's and it's like, I'm going to bring Vincent back here in a moment. I want to add him in this, but it's like, I use this analogy or this metaphor of a garden. Life is a lot like a garden in the sense that, we have these thoughts and feelings and things that happen, and whatever we water or give sun to is what grows, whether it's the negative thoughts, whether they're the beautiful thoughts. And it's like, and that's a choice we always have, is what we're focusing on is what we see. And if I'm looking, and especially in this age of this pandemic, it's like, if I'm looking for suffering and fear and death, it's like, I'll find that. If that's all I'm just looking through this little lens. It's like, see, suffering, chaos. And it's like, but it's the same is true when I look for the beautiful people who are lifting others up in the midst of a pandemic, the people who are at the expense of their own comforts, their own pleasures, to support people with little, to rise and to shine. And that's the gift that we all have, in each moment, in community and in collectively, individually, and globally. And that's really what I see the opportunity. I'm going to bring Vincent back in here. I know Matthew was having issues with his battery, but Vincent, I'm going to bring you back here. Welcome back, Vincent.
Thank you. And as I was listening in the back to say, when you said whatever you are looking for is what you find, exactly, you're on point, because I was looking at how exactly am I going to make a difference where I am? How can I, for instance, help, the kids learn these basic skills, computing? And boom, 4 computers came in. So I was looking for that moment. I was just looking for, can I have an opportunity just to also help? The help came in. So you are right when you say it's what you get. And if you just focus on that, everything will just work themselves out. Yeah. I don't know, the world or the universe has got a way of, working themselves out depending on exactly what you are focusing on or what you are looking for. So I think that worked for me. Yeah.
Yeah. It's what and the way I would kind of describe it to go even further, it's like it's what we're listening for, and I can listen for something to be afraid of. I could listen to, I could be upset waiting to happen. So I'm just looking for something to be upset about. We all know people like that, like who are, just like they're just upset waiting to happen. But it's true. It's like if I'm looking for if every corner, that like blind corner that I can't see around is something exciting waiting to happen. It's like, what is this? What's around the corner that I can't even see that's, that will make me laugh or bring me joy? It's like, you're going to find something. It's like, I don't know what's behind that corner, but it's going to make me laugh or it's going to bring me joy. And it's like, I had a very, in my experience that led to this organization, this nonprofit and this vision and movement. I remember like I had this blank space in my life where I've been a touring musician and playing nonstop since I was an adult. For over 12 years I would tour and tour and tour and record and tour, and even got lost in this I love doing it, but I've got lost in the doing it. And I remember I took a break in at the end of 2018, and I had this blank schedule all of a sudden from being like busy year round to being just completely open. And I remember, without even really knowing it at the time, I had this blank piece of paper, and I wrote it like on this blank piece of paper. I just had this blank sheet, and I just wrote, what seeds of joy can I plant today for my friends, for my family, for the people I love, for the people for strangers, for people I don't know, for people I don't even like. And it was just like, but I think that's what you're both speaking to. It's like, what can I do and this is a choice we have in every moment. What can I do today to make someone else's life better, to give someone else an opportunity to laugh or to love or to contribute? And I think that's what you're both speaking to.
Yes. And Vincent, man, I mean, you're doing a really, really yeoman's job here. I mean, you're trying to make the impossible possible, and you're doing it. Now, I'm going to give you the best piece of advice that you're probably ever going to get here. Continue on. Never doubt yourself. And also think about reuse, and stuff like that. There are a lot of corporations, especially out in South Africa, that have computers that they have to get rid of because they are either out of date or they just the hard drive is shot on it or something. There's a component that is dead that they just and it's easier for them to get a new computer than it is for them to hire somebody to come in and try and fix it. So by doing something that's going to save the world also, because you're not going to put e-waste back in, talk to the corporations around you, talk to the larger people and say, hey, I need your e-waste. Because all you got to do is just take a computer. As long as it can boot up, you can get a hard drive, because out of 3 damaged computers, you can build 1 good one. Sometimes it takes 2. The only thing that's going to be weird is monitors. I don't have a good thing about that. It's just, if you get a good monitor, it's going to work. If you don't, sorry about that. But basically, you just go ahead, you take it, you take what's broken and you put it aside. You take the best of those 2 machines, put it into one, throw Linux on it, because Linux will work on the most basic of machines. I mean, I have a Pentium 4 that's running Linux right now, and it's working like a charm. Take the best of both, put it into one, you've got yourself another machine. And there are a lot of people that would love to go ahead, because another thing that you can do through your organization is to petition your government and say, hey, all this e-waste that's coming out, it's bad for the environment, it's bad for everything. Why not make it better for everybody? Why not go ahead and put it to good use, put it to schools that need it, and then this way, the other good part about this, you can teach your students how to fix a machine. If they can fix a machine, they can make a lot of money. And if they can, I mean, they may not be able to recognize, like, is it a driver error? Is it this error? Is it that error? But if they can go ahead and, the boot up and it just gives a beep, okay, the RAM's not in or the drive's not working or something like that. They can do the basic skills. And once they know those basic skills, they can enhance them from there. And it's because of the fact that you are being selfless and you are trying to make the world a better place by reducing the amount of stuff that goes into the landfill, by reusing stuff, and by going ahead and being impassioned. Because Vincent, I can tell you are a passionate man about this. I can tell that this is your life. This is what you want to do. This is what you want to be. If you bring that, and you bring that passion, and you bring that verve, and you bring that just awesomeness, you're going to get one company to bite. All you need is one company. That's it. If you've got one company, you've got more machines. And then, let's see, I'm trying to remember who the heck said it, but the journey of your life starts with one step. Your first step, go ahead, talk to people. And I would also go ahead and I would call up like Dell. I would call up the major manufacturers in there and say, hey, I know that you guys have calls for broken machines. You guys have people that, the techs send out, that they can't fix it. Can we work with you to get those, can we work with you to get those machines? They'll go ahead and they'll do it. It's best PR for them. And it's going to make the world a better place. So Vincent, man, just continue being the awesome guy that you are. Continue your calling. I know that you're going to succeed. And I know that your foundation is going to be awesome because you have the heart, you have the passion, and you have what it takes to go ahead and accomplish it.
Well, thank you so much for those wonderful words, that encouragement. And yeah, I get that a lot. And that simply, it shows that that's where we are heading as an organization. We'll be big. Yeah, I can see it.
Perfect.
I love it. And that's so. I mean, again, I knew the dots would connect in some way, and again, I told you that they would connect, and here we are with another example of, what you're speaking to about, how you can get the e-waste of other major companies, and all you need is one company to bite. And what you can do, Vincent, is once you're repairing computers and creating new computers off of e-waste, you could train others to do that. And you could have them train others. And it's like, it's something that remember that 18% of people who don't have computers, like you alone could be the source of making that number go up to 18% that do not have computers, where the rest of the people do. Like you could be the one that you're the tipping point to making that happen. And it's, again, I'm not surprised that both of your professions and experiences are so aligned in this specific. It's beautiful, and I love it. So was there anything you want to say, Vincent, to Nick, or Nick to Vincent, about what you heard in each other's shares before we end? And welcome back, Matthew, by the way.
Yeah, what I can basically say to Nick is, I think continuing the path that you are going, because what I heard from your sharing is that you are with your technology. Sorry, you are you want to make a difference in people's lives, even in a little way, and that means a lot, because that's what I equally want to do here. Because it doesn't mean that you need to do a lot, something big, something that will be, massive. I think what you said about a journey starting with, one step, it's very true and, very inspiring, because in whatever we do, even in a smallest way, we make a difference and we change someone. So just continue doing that. and you inspire me a lot. Yeah.
Thank you, Vincent. That actually means a lot. And like I said, I heard in your share that you want the best for the next generation. And our paths are, it's not only connected through computers, but our paths are connected through that. The other reason, besides the fact that one of my best friends, asked me to be on the project, one of the reasons why I'm with Eversmart is because of the fact that I am going to leave this world a little bit better for my nieces and my nephews. They are going to take my experience, what I'm doing, and hopefully they'll be able, to go out and visit, maybe stay there or something like that. And hopefully they'll see that, I came from nothing myself. My mom and my dad, they were blue collar workers, and they were the ones that instilled this work ethic in me. They were the ones that instilled the fact that, I can be the best that I want to be, but unless I'm not a good person, you're really missing out on 3/4 of life. So that's partially why I am the way that I am. And like I said, Vincent, I see that is also a common thread between us, is that we both are going to use our talents, not solely for ourselves, but for everybody. Because it literally took me, maybe about 2 or 3 minutes to give you, a quick piece of advice. I've got nothing but time when I'm on stuff like this. If it takes me 2 or 3 minutes to impart some bit of knowledge that is going to make your organization better, yeah, I've got that time. I've got the knowledge. Ask, and stuff like that. And I'm not berating or belittling you, but I'm just like, people just are amazed that I ask things. They're like, "Oh no, you can't do that. Oh no, don't do that. Oh my God, no, you're gonna blow up the universe. Don't do that." I go up to people just because I am the type of guy that I am. I'm a goofball and stuff. But I go to people and I'm like, "Hey, I have for instance, I've got an animal rescue that I work with, and I went to Microsoft and I said, "Hey, do these guys qualify for this?" And they said, "Yeah." The rescue never asked me to do it. They were just, like flattered that I said I would go ahead and design their website for them for nothing. I got them the whole Microsoft shebang. I got them, emails. I've got, all that kind of good stuff. Why? Because I asked. It took me literally 10 minutes. Wait, I'm sorry, 15, because I had to sit through that stupid hold music. Oh God, I hate Microsoft. I love Microsoft. Do not get me wrong. I love you guys, but I hate your hold music. But yeah. And again, if you notice, I change moods very quickly. I can be serious and then I can be silly. It's the way that I am. It's the way that I'll always be, and it's the way that I encourage everybody to be. Life is serious enough, man. Don't take yourself so seriously. Have fun. Watch a cartoon. Read a comic book. Do something like that. And Vincent, man, there's going to be times, because I was you there for a little while. I had to sit there and claw. When I first started my own consulting business, I had to claw. There were times when I sat there and said, "Okay, do I have to pay rent or can I eat today?" Type of things. And the way that I got through it was laughter. Laughing at myself, laughing at my buddies, and just basically, doing something that made me laugh, because it took me out of my own head for a minute. And it got me to realize that the world is serious enough. It's going to be that serious tomorrow. It's going to be that serious for the next eons to come. If you sit there and you let that world be serious on you, you're going to be like, "Oh God, I can't do this. It's too hard. I don't want to do this. I'm done." And it's when you say that you're done that's when you've lost in this game of life, man. But I know you're not going to quit, because if you quit, I'm going to come down to Zambia and I'm going to go ahead and find you, and I'm going to break my foot in a small little place, because I do not want you to quit. You are doing something fantastic. You are doing something that is going to inspire a lot of people in your, not only within your community, within your city, within your state, within your town. You are going to start a revolution. And Vincent, I'm going to be right behind you, holding up the banner, going, "Go Vincent! Go Vincent!"
So I love it. I love it. You both are so inspiring in what you're committed to and who you're being in the world. And it's so, I mean, thank you for that insight and that wisdom, Nick, and for Vincent, just for sharing about, that gift you received and that you're paying forward to. And I agree with Nick, Vincent, that you're starting a revolution. What you're doing, you're a pioneer for what's possible, and you're starting in your community, but people not only in your community in Livingston, but all over the world are going to hear your story, because that's what it takes, is just one person in their community to say, you know what, I'm going to be the person that makes a difference for the people in my community. And then people are going to realize, like, whoa, I can do that too. And that's what's all it takes, is you are planting seeds of leadership, and you're taking it on when you don't have to. You're choosing to take it on for others, for the betterment of others. And I acknowledge you both. It just gives me the goosebumps. You can't see them, but it gives me chills just to know that you are both being you in this world, and you are committed to just community and to lifting others up. And it's people like you that makes the world we're living into that much more exciting, that much more joyous, and that much more fun, and just something that gives us something to laugh with each other about, just to enjoy each other and to love and to just share that gift.
Yeah, and just real quick, first of all, Nick, I'm sorry I missed the last part of your share. Like, my having a bit of technology issues myself over here today. But based on what both of you said, and what I heard when I came back on, I'm just very, 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 very much appreciating that we had both of you on the same show at this particular time. Like, I feel like there has been a growing trend in our world that started with the advent of the personal computer and grew with the internet, and then, kind of really took off with the early days of YouTube and MySpace and Twitter. And now cryptocurrency and blockchain technology has taken this to a new level, and that is the trend of decentralization, moving away from centralized authority and centralized trust, and into this place where we all get to embody what we really are, which I feel is creators. Like, we all get to create and share and put this out there on the platform that anyone can see it, that is censorship proof, that is limitless, that will be out there for as long as we have, just one storage array that's holding this out on the internet, which, like, who knows how long that'll be, but it's out there, right? Like, it's definitely out there. And especially, like, in the communities that I've been involved in the past, not all of them, but a lot of them, there tends to be this demonization of technology. Like, it's technology that created this mess. It's technology that created a world that's unsustainable. It's technology that is poisoning our atmosphere and our land, and so on and so forth. But it's not the technology. It's the way we as a species have chosen to use that technology. The technology in and of itself is not good or bad. It's just technology. It's what we choose to do with it that makes it harmful or healing.
Right.
And I feel like we have a chance now to start shifting the conversation and to start actually incorporating some of the more beautiful ways in which we can use the technology that exists today into a more realistic and whole community. And you two are building that right now, and I love it. And I just thank you so much. And thank you for coming on here, and thank you for sharing, and just thank you for being you. Like, you guys are awesome. Seriously.
So, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know what you're saying, Matthew. It's harmonious technology, and it's not the technology itself, but it's creating technology that is to empower, not to dominate. It's to empower and serve each other. And to your point again, Matthew, it's like there was a piece of technology that I would say is responsible for civilization itself, the plow. That was technology, and no one's saying, "Oh, evil plow."
Oh, some people are. You'd be
Oh, yeah.
surprised. It's out there.
I guess I stand corrected. People resent the plow, but I mean, I welcome their argument. I'd be curious to hear that someone argue that, but 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 the point is what you're saying, Matthew, is the technology is not a problem. It's the humans and of what we're committed to. Is it to ourselves or to each other? And I don't really think there's a way to sustain if it's just for ourselves. It's for each other that we create a world that not only works for all, but thrives and expands and brings us and our children and our children's children into a world that we didn't even know was possible. And it's like that's what I'm excited about, and thriving in that space. What new technology could come about when communities that don't even notice each other or see each other are working together for each other. Communities that art and musical masterpieces, what will be created, what scientific discoveries, spiritual collaborations, what new recipes, and like that's what this is about for me. And I think you too, as Matthew's saying, are creating that in your community, in your world, and you're making that world that we're speaking of that much smaller, because it's like that we are one community. When we actually zoom out and think about it, it's like everything we do interconnects, but also affects and impacts us all. And again, thank you both for being here. This has just been an awesome conversation. So just thank you both for just being with us and sharing what you're up to and what you've got going on in the world. And my cat agrees.
Yeah, I don't know if you've heard mine back here too, but just really quick, one thing I would like to invite both of you to remember, and you probably already know this, but I feel like it's present, so I'm going to go ahead and share it. Do not forsake the emotional and the spiritual journey for the technological journey, in the same way that a lot of communities have forsaken the technological journey for the spiritual journey. Like, I feel like it's a blend of both. And that's really like one of the biggest invitations that I want to put out there is like, it's not one or the other. It's both together. That's all.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you both.
Well,
again.
as anybody that's ever sat there looked at a server and gone, "Oh dear God, please let this come up. Dear God, please let this come up. Come on. I'll give my firstborn if I have to." Yes, I wholeheartedly agree. You still got to have that. Still got to have that faith, and you still got to have all of that stuff behind you. Because if you sit there and you're just like, "Oh my God, technology, God, oh, you're gonna live an empty life." But it's when you put yourself into something that is more than you, and that's faith right there. You're putting your hands in something that is beyond your comprehension. You're putting a thought into something that is just mind-blowing. There is something out there that allows a very large gaseous thing to come up every day, and not all of a sudden just burst into flames and annihilate us all. Mind-blowing with that. So I mean, it doesn't matter if you pray to Allah, if you pray to God, if you pray to Vishnu, if you don't believe in anything at all, like I've said, and Vincent, I know you're going to do this. If you can leave the world in a little bit of a better way because of those teachings that you got from believing in something more than yourself, you've won the game. You get to go ahead and you get that nice little plaque when you cross that bridge, or when you achieve your nothingness, or if you get reincarnated or whatever. If you can achieve that little plaque, you won. And we all know that everybody loves a winner, so let's all win at that game of life.
thank you both again. It's been really, it's been a great conversation, and it's just, I'm inspired by both of you, and encourage you to keep being you. This world is better off just by you, just your natural self-expression of your commitment to your community and to us all. So thank you. It's just been an honor and a pleasure to have you with us. And now I'm going to take this moment to check in with our audience and just say thank you all for being here with us. You know, this is a platform for you to share you know, the gift of what you've experienced in your life, you know, of what you've overcome and faced, what deep down is your calling, what's brought you to that. We want to give you a space to share and be you, and you know, allow others who might be dealing with something similar to overcome what they're facing and to have the courage to share. And you know, this is part of our one-day vision, which is humanity rising in a connected world with each person's unique gifts, genius, and contributions being valued and magnified through a higher level of collaboration, producing unprecedented new realms of possibility. Thank you both again, Nick and Vincent, for being here. Thank you at home for tuning in. We will see you all next week. I love you all. Be safe, be well, and as always, one day is today.
Aloha.
Aloha.